The year is 1991. Two F-15 Eagles scream across the skies of Iraq, expecting missiles from the ground. But what they don't know is that death is coming from above. As they escort a massive strike force toward Baghdad, Iraqi MiG-29s are closing in, silent, stealthy, and deadly. What follows is a supersonic chess match of radar tricks, blinding speed, and gut-wrenching decisions that could cost lives. This isn't a movie, this happened. And today, on Historical Stories, we're diving deep into one of the most intense dogfights of Operation Desert Storm, when Fulcrums ambushed the Eagles. Stay with us to the end, because what happens in the final seconds will leave your heart pounding. Desert Duel, when MiG-29s hunted the Eagles. It was the morning of January 19, 1991. Operation Desert Storm was underway, and two F-15 Eagles, flown by Captains Chezar, Rico Rodriguez and Craig Underhill, were on an escort mission over Iraq. Their role was critical: protect a strike package of 36 aircraft heading to targets near Baghdad. Behind them, waves of F-16s swooped in, dropping 2,000-pound general-purpose bombs on enemy ammunition depots, igniting massive explosions across the desert. Expecting surface-to-air missiles, the F-16s pulled up sharply, releasing chaff and flares. But missiles weren't the only threat that day. The Iraqi Air Force had launched 4 of their most advanced jets, MiG-29 Fulcrums, intent on intercepting the F-15s. Outnumbered, the Iraqis had waited for the perfect moment. Now it was here. From his AWACS controller, Mark White, Rico received a chilling transmission. 2 hostile contacts, bearing 040 for 35, second is 065 for 34. Rico responded without hesitation. "We'll take 040, and turned into the threat. His radar lit up. There was the contact. Then another signal. His radar warning receiver RWR detected a MiG-29 tracking him. "I'm being painted," Rico called. "I see it," replied Mole. The fight was on. Both sets of aircraft were closing in fast, a supersonic joust between fourth-generation fighters. Rico selected an AIM-7 Sparrow missile. The Iraqis dove low, hoping the ground clutter would mask their position. But Rico's radar resolved the contacts, 2 clear blips. He locked onto one, triggering the MiG pilot's RWR. But the Fulcrum pilots had another trick. Banking hard sideways, they disappeared off the F-15's radar. Rico hesitated to fire. AIM-7s required continuous radar lock, and he knew the MiGs would slip into the radar's blind spot. Perpendicular movement made targets vanish. Just as he expected, they disappeared. Then reappeared, 12 nautical miles away. Rico relocked, but again withheld fire. It would be futile. The MiGs were playing radar tag, blinking in and out of visibility, staying just out of reach while dragging the Eagles further east. They were being lured. AWACS handed Rico and Mole over to a new controller as they flew beyond White's coverage. Still, Mark White kept an eye on them. Suddenly, Rico's RWR screamed again. New detections. Ahead was a field of S-125 Never Sams, Baghdad's anti-air defense. "They're dragging us into the city's AA," Rico warned. They had a choice: retreat and leave the F-16s vulnerable, or stay and face certain danger. Rico chose to protect the strike force. "Opposition, keep pushing them away until the strikes are done," he ordered. They pressed forward, risking it all. As the RWR clicked more rapidly, Rico stayed focused. Then came the real trap. A third MiG-29, radar silent, sneaking in from the left, was charging toward them. Unseen by radar, undetected by RWR. White, no longer their controller, still monitored the unfolding situation. At 18 miles, the MiG was well within R-27 missile range, and the F-15s weren't reacting. At 14 miles, White couldn't wait. "Pop-up contact 330 degrees for 13 miles, he called out. Rico instantly responded. He dropped his fuel tanks, pulled hard toward the threat, vapor streaming off his wings. The MiG finally appeared on his radar, just 8 miles out. At the same moment, the Iraqi pilot activated his radar. Rico's RWR screamed, "Lock alert." They had each other in their sights. Rico locked the contact, but didn't fire. Rules of engagement required visual ID for any contact within 10 miles. It could be a stealth F-117. Mole started running friend or foe ID while Rico dove, deploying chaff to confuse the lock, but it didn't help. The enemy radar lock held. Racing down from 30,000 feet, Rico scoured the sky for the MiG. Mole got the all clear. It was hostile. He fired. The AIM-7 Sparrow launched in a trail of smoke. Rico watched the missile streak behind him toward the target. Then he saw it. The MiG-29 was diving right at him. But before it could fire, the missile struck square on the nose. A fireball erupted, debris spiraling into the sand below. "Flash!" Mole called. Rico pulled up hard. He'd been only 500 feet above the desert when the missile hit. But it wasn't over. "Second group, north 10 miles, White warned. Rico saw them on radar. Though the strike package was already heading home, the proximity was too risky. They had to engage. He ran an ID procedure, hostile. He locked the target, but as he did, it transformed on his screen into a diamond, a symbol that suggested friendly aircraft. Mole hesitated. Rico insisted it has to be another MiG. But per protocol, he had to confirm visually. He and Mole climbed for a closer look. As they approached, the aircraft flew directly toward and above them. Rico stayed low, letting it close the distance. Then he pulled up sharply, afterburners roaring. Within 50 feet, he finally saw it clearly. Green camouflage and an Iraqi flag. Definitely a MiG-29. Rico maneuvered behind the MiG, which was turning left. No time for textbook tactics. This was now a dogfight. He flipped his F-15 and dove, entering the MiG's turning circle. 10 Gs of force crushed his body as he tracked the Fulcrum. The MiG tried to escape, diving to gain speed. Rico followed, spiraling down, determined to bring it into his sights. The two jets screamed past one another again. Mole, high above, offered help. "I can come in," Rico declined. "This one's mine." The MiG turned again, but Rico anticipated it. They couldn't go much lower. Desert floor was rushing up. He stayed locked in, enduring brutal Gs. Then he saw it, the Fulcrum in his sights. Rico switched to an AIM-9 Sidewinder, preparing to lead the target for the kill. The Iraqi pilot, sensing the threat, made a final gamble. He flipped upside down and dove hard. Rico didn't follow. Too dangerous. He pulled up and banked away. The MiG's pilot, pushing his jet beyond its limits, tried to recover, but he was too low. The desert filled his canopy. He fired afterburners, yanked the controls, but the Gs were too great. The MiG-29 slammed into the sand, exploding in a plume of dust and flame. Rico exhaled, adrenaline surging. He'd survived. Mole rejoined on his right, 2 miles out. "Let's go home," Rico said, voice calm now. That day, Rico Rodriguez secured one of his 3 confirmed MiG kills, the highest tally for pilot after Vietnam. Conclusion: in the chaos of war-torn skies, it wasn't just technology or firepower that decided the outcome. It was instinct, courage, and split-second decisions. Captain Rico Rodriguez faced radar traps, missile threats, and a deadly ambush. But he outflew, outthought, and outlasted some of the best jets the Iraqi Air Force had to offer. His actions not only protected the strike force, but also earned him a place in air combat history. This was more than just a dogfight. It was a battle of minds, machines, and survival. And it's just one of the incredible moments we bring you here on Historical Stories. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the skies have many more stories to tell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.